Quiet on the set. Here we go. Hello, everybody. I'm Dear Myrtle, your friend in genealogy, but you know this channel's all about creating journals to tell an ancestor story, one incident, one artifact at a time. This is an experiment. Oh, I've got to actually remember to mute it over there. Okay. This is an experiment because I've never used StreamYard for live streaming. I've always used it just to record a short subject video. Cousin Russ is on standby. Is your mic on, Cousin Russ?
Yes, it is, and I'm watching on YouTube as well.
Okay, good. All right. So our theme with Heather Kraafter this week has been to take stuff we've used before that's in our stash and use it up. And so my first example is when I was experimenting with this little spray stuff that I got. And I thought I'd use it on a card, but I didn't like it because sometimes it would be very thick, sometimes thin. And I thought I would use it to make a little flower. And one of the things about having little flowers and things ready is that then you can put it on at the last second as you need it. So I have several examples here. And notice that I've either put a bead or a pearl in the middle of it. So Cousin Russ, I'm just learning how to do this stuff. I learned this from Shabby Dabby Doodah. I will put her link down below. What you do is you start with your glitter glue or whatever glue you prefer. Just plaster a bunch of glue on this baby. And I've already cut out circles from some leftover paper. And you may notice that I have used the ink around the edge to make it look older. Okay, and all you do is just go all the way around. The only trick is that on the last one, you need to go over and then under the first one. So you have to do it kind of quickly so you're able to get in there. And the the glue has already dried. I was talking too much, Cousin Russ. I tend to do that. Don't say a thing. All right, there we've got it. Just have to put a little bead in the center, and sometimes it helps to put a little bit of glue where it overlaps. I don't know if you're able to see that very well, but that's how you make a bunch of these little flowers. Now, this is 3/4 inch punch, and I tend to use the punch upside down so that I can decide, do I want it to include part of this flower? Or do I want it just to be a bunch of little spots, little sprinkly, sparkly things? And it would even be more darling if I could find my 1/2 inch hole punch, or yeah, circle punch. That's the plan. I think 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch would be appropriate. For instance, if we had to embellish this sample and we needed a flower, we could put it there. I don't need a flower, however. Okay, so what have I got here? These are old book pages that I use. I pull up my old book. This is about Lafayette. The paper is very brittle, but I use it when I'm pasting. So I don't get things on my work surface. This paper is falling apart. It's falling out of its binding. Look at this. Let me pull this up so you can see it, Russ. This book is a mess. And that's why I bought it from Goodwill, because it was coming apart and pages were coming out. It's very brittle. When you fold this paper, it immediately shreds. However, miracles happen when you use glue. Now, normally I would save this because that's a cool embellishment. Normally I'd put something on here and glue, but what I've done, let's just take an example of, I'll make one like this. And you're going to ask me, what on earth is that for, Mert? Well, we would put it on the inside of a journal. Of course, now I can't get anything to pull out of the book evenly. Russ, how are you doing today?
Doing good.
That's good. All right. It's just a little rough on the edge. So when I've used this with my glue stick and gone on the edge and gotten a little bit on here, I'll fold it over, but with a new batch of glue. And I love either a glue stick, acid-free, so it'll last forever and a day, or my favorite art glitter glue. All right, we're going to fold this over. And this becomes stronger because we've made a double thickness. And actually, we're going to do what I call wallpapering. And we will take, I have some old single-sided paper that I haven't been using. And I tried to get very plain pieces so that I can dress it up or dress it down in the final book that I may use. I think I'll just pull this one. So in the case of a large journal, we could pretend this is a large journal. If this is the spine and you're inside, you could decorate this and make this a tuck spot. So we're going to just wallpaper it, which is not decorating. It's just to put a base on it to make this as thick as possible so that it can handle all that. Best way to do this, get the purple book out of the way. Anyway, and I'm going to apply the glue to the old book page that has been folded over. And I'm pretty liberal with the glue. And I also use an old credit card or something to help the glue remain, or help it spread a little, so it won't be lumpy. Okay, we'll move these guys out of the way slightly. When I first saw someone doing this, I'm like, nah, that can't be like that. But it really does spread the glue, like what happens when you wallpaper a wall. Okay. Now I'm going to fold it over. Don't have to, but I'm going to. So this outer edge, which is right along here, this outer edge will be, won't be raggedy. Now, some people like raggedy. I don't happen to. Am I having fun with autofocus, Cousin Russ?
Yeah, it just started. Now it's back the way it should be.
All right, well, I'll try not to flip any paper in front. That's the one thing I didn't check, was autofocus. Not good to have that much. I do know that, I just wasn't obeying that concept. Okay, spread the glue.
So what you're doing, if I understand what you're doing, you're building up support for that pocket. Is that what I'm getting out of this?
Absolutely. That's exactly what I'm doing. Otherwise, that book is worthless. It's got, let me find out where the end of this is. There we go. Yeah, the book would be worthless as the pages continue to fall out. But here we are repurposing so that we now have a pocket. But I'll tell you why I'm not going to make a little opening like I frequently do, because I may not use it as a pocket. If this is the book, I may decide to to make it 2 pockets, in which case I'd want 2 little divots indicating, no, you can tell because there's a mix and match of contrasting paper underneath. If this were hidden, let's find one and hide it. If this were totally hidden under here, you'd never see it, Russ. So what we tend to do is either make whatever it is we insert taller, or we make a little divot there. Usually we do both. Does that divot thing make sense?
Yeah, and the title of the show now makes total sense to me once I figured out what you were doing, what you're building up. You have a project in mind that's going to have a book with a bunch of pages in it, and the pages are going to have pockets. So you're building up a stash of the pages pockets. Is
Exactly.
that what you're doing? Okay. Yep. Now I got it.
All right. And I may not use them all in the same book.
Right.
I'm just overly prepared. So now you understand how to use a page where you folded it vertically. Let me make a triangular one. Now, a triangular pocket can have a flat edge at the top or not, or it could be at the bottom or not. Boy, I hate that autocorrect. Ugh, what a mess. What we've done is I've taken the page and folded it in half. Let me give you an example. Get another page. Okay. I took a page that I had used with glue before. Now I'm using just a regular one. I folded it up and glued it, and then I folded one of the corners over. And it can be any which way you wish, and you can trim them down and do this and that, and I didn't fold it too well, so I could fix it as I wish. It's all a matter of just go for it. All right, let's go up this side. All right, it's a pocket in a book, but it's not very decorative yet. So we're going to wallpaper again. All right. I just love old book pages, Cousin Russ, because you don't have to coffee dime to make them look old. All right. Let's find another piece of paper. Okay, this one's a little bit bolder. Kind of a red pattern. This looks like wallpaper, doesn't it? Okay, I'll take the example of the one that's already folded. And how shall we do this? I think I'll trim this along here. This is only 2 pages thick. This whole part is 4 pages thick because of how I folded. I'm going to do this across the bottom. And this is by no means decorated. This is just a base on which to build things with tissue paper from old patterns, any kind of old stuff. I could use lace down the side of it. All kinds of things to embellish it. Put my flower there as part of all of that. Yeah, it would be, you don't hardly ever even see this paper. But this is paper I never use, Cousin Russ, because it's just this like typing paper, like printer paper, nothing on the back. I tend to use cardstock more, just because it's heavier and I don't have to build up so many layers. All right, so we're going to glue this. It's amazing what you find in your stash, like these pages that they're very pretty paper, but I don't tend to use them because they're so thin. All right, let's find a spot to put this. Okay. Where's my wallpaper? There. Got that. It's like spreading that wallpaper paste. Let me get back in the into the view of the camera. Okay, we'll go and cut this. Now, it depends on, I mean, you could get away with a little overlap if I cut it here, Russ. What you want to do is protect this part, which will be where you tuck things. So I'm going to do it that way.
Would you not, looking at it and try to get more support for that piece of paper, I would have folded it and then
The whole
cut.
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
that
do
would
it.
Yeah, you have options, and the previous example was you ended up with 4 layers of support, and you could have done the same thing by folding it, but keep your concept of making it a pocket later on.
Totally could do it that way. What this does is help people who, you know, their scrap paper that they have in their stash might not be enough to fold it all the way over. And in fact, this book page is already 4 layers thick, so it's very firm. So all I have to do is just protect that edge because it's going to go in a book, and whatever it is we're going to tuck in will be along this edge. So the fold had to be there, in my opinion, so it wasn't rough edges, but I can get away with it because this is very thick, and I have wrapped around this wallpapering project. All right, let's go ahead and do it, and then I'll trim off that extra part. Yeah, you're right. Sometimes this is all you've got. It's just a bare little bit like this. In fact, sometimes it's even worse. Let's do a different one, a different way. Okay, this is just a base for a tuck spot that will go in a book. Russ, one advantage to doing it the way you mentioned, if I'd taken it down on both sides, I could have used it going this way in a book if I wished. Does that make any sense?
Yep.
Could flip it. But all right, that one's ready. Now let's get a little smaller one, and we'll get another piece of paper here. Now this one is a little bit bolder paper, but remember, we're probably going to lose most of this by the time we not only wallpaper but embellish. So I'm going to take my glue and glue all this and put it in about that far so that I can have it fold down and fold around. And I'll show you why. Let me do this. Try to get on screen here. I still have fun trying to stay in screen with these little videos. How's our time, Cousin Russ?
20 minutes.
Okay, and that was our goal, about 20 minutes. Okay. So again, most people are not using a whole sheet of paper from their stash. They're using little itty bitties, which is that's what I call little leftover chunks of things. This is just one of my 2 itty bitty baskets, Russ, where I just have the tiniest little amounts of something. Okay, so this is going to be the front. And this is going to be the top. And this will be the bottom. I'm going to cut the bottom because it'll be glued once we're done. But if all you have is just a little bit of paper, you can actually collage on this little itty bitty cover. that we've just put, instead of a whole piece of paper, you could collage. I haven't glued it. Just threw away my wallpapering tool. All right, let me find another one and let's actually collage. We'll take some things out of my stash and see what we can accomplish. All right. I think I'll save that for a little minute. I kind of like that. And I like this. And I like that it's rough on the edge. That's the kind of collaging I like to do. Let's find another piece of something. Okay, and I'm fussing too hard. So I'm just going to put, well, I'll put glue here. It'll be easier because I'm not sure how I'm going to place this. Okay, my wallpaper tool. And we'll just put a little more right along here. Did a pretty good estimate. Okay, I know it looks messy, but we'll clean it up. All right, let's go ahead and put glue in this area. All right. All right. I also like this. You see, it just looks messy at this point, but this is the base. And we may put a flower there. Who knows what we're going to do? But let's clean up the sides. I'm going to wrap it just for the heck of it.
Is there anything special about that glue?
Yes, this glue is very special. It's it dries very quickly, as opposed to being pliable and movable. So you got to be careful with art glitter glue. If what you're doing is going to require you repositioning something, you're unsure. I mean, it took me a while to work up to this glue, Cousin Russ. Let's put it that way. Before that, I just used Elmer's glue until I figured out I might want to use something else. All right.
So I have one more question while I'm talking about the glue.
Yes.
It looks like that's a different kind of tip or cap for the glue. Is there something that you do with that?
Yes.
Because you said it dries very quickly, and I would worry about that tip being clogged soon.
Yeah, it does get clogged soon. And as a matter of fact, I did a video on this. I store it like this with the point down because you know how if you've only used half the glue, the top part of the glue is like, it's like pudding that you stick in the fridge with the lid off. It gets a thick layer. So yeah, we store it like this. It comes with, let me show you what it comes with. This is a new one. I'm glad you asked. And I'm glad I actually had a new one on standby. It comes with a little silver tip. And its very tiny little tip does the job. Some people use this tip, but I don't think it's sharp enough. I like the additional one.
So is there a cap in that the other one?
Nope, it's just a little pin. It's that small. Here, let me take it out.
No,
so you can
no,
see.
that's all right. Just the one that's at the top
Yeah.
has a ball at the end.
Yep. And
Is
that's a
that
pin.
that's what I wanted to know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's subtleties of all this stuff that we have to consider. People always talked about art glitter glue, and I thought this was a Catherine Wilson thing because of the glitter. She's crazy for glitter. It's not at all. There's no glitter in it. That's just the company name. So who knew? All right. I'm going to show you what other things I might choose to embellish this with. It's just enough for 3 hearts, which is a little signal for between me and the girls. It's our little secret thing. So I'm planning to put that there. I may put some greenery. I have some somewhere, or a ribbon or something I may put over there. That's beginning to actually make it fit in a journal. Before this, that's just the bare bones. And we did it out of scraps of paper on that old book page, as opposed to a whole sheet of paper that we weren't using anyway and putting it on this particular base for a pocket. And the same difference would be for these little belly bands. Belly bands, Cousin Russ. Poor dear man. I might use this on the back of something where I only put glue in the top and the bottom, and there would be this opening part where I could then tuck something else of interest on the back. And they're called belly bands. I don't know why they call them that. They just do. There's a whole lingo to any genre, I guess, right? All right, next, folks, next time I do a recording, I'm going to show you how I made this envelope and the unusual kind of closure that I'm going to put on it. And I guess that is about it for today, Cousin Russ. We did a triangle, a tall rectangle, a square pocket. Now, when we put these in a journal, we're very careful to just glue on the underneath side, down the side, across the bottom, and up the side, so that our little journaling card could easily fit in there. And we also learned how, I shared what I learned from somebody else, how to make cute little tiny flowers out of what you have in your stash. Just use it up. It's all good. Thank you, Cousin Russ, for being here. I appreciate it.
Interesting show. Thank you.
Okay. Nothing left to say, but I'm Dear Myrtle, your friend in genealogy. Happy family tree climbing and journal making, everybody. That's a wrap.